tweet this out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go tweet it out. Streaming. Also open the stream up on my phone because, well, for some reason after a bit of time it stops popping up and that's on there. But it is working good. That's all good. Right, anyway, two of you are watching, so might as well get started. It might be more than just DVDs and Blu-rays I go through today, but you can see got some boxes and that there. The rest of my family will be coming. Well, my mum and dad will be coming tomorrow, and other members of my family will be coming on Sunday, and that to help start clearing, you know, everything else that isn't mine. But you can see there's stuff and that up there. There's like all of this to basically go through. Hello, Eric Cartman. So you was all like, ooh, Back to the Future. Hey, look at that. I'm amazed the battery on that still works, and I was very lucky to get one of those actually. Yeah, those are all from Asda. Those, yeah. But all this has to go, and that these will all have to go away. But the DVDs and that, and Blu-rays and that, you can see here, we're nearly full. I'm hoping should have maybe just enough room. If not, a few of them, you know, can just going somewhere else. But yeah, we've got some more, and that let's go through today. So go through them, and hopefully, you know, that'll be the last. Ooh, I've got a bad knee today because I went to Nando's today with me other grandparents who are still alive, as part of a late birthday treat. And yeah, unfortunately, when I went to go to the toilet, which was upstairs, they had a wet floor sign in the middle of the stairs, even though the floor was dry. So I don't know why it was there, but basically, when I tried to scoot around it, my foot got caught underneath the wet floor sign, and basically I fell forward and my knee banged off the tile stairs. I fell onto my knee. So yeah, my knee fucking hurts. So great. Anyway, let's go through some DVDs and Blu-rays. Let's start with a Blu-ray. ScoobyDoo, Legend of the Vampire. I do really like this movie, and it's a really weird turning point because this is the in-between phase, because this was after the Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island to Cyber Chase era, but it was also before the What's New era. So yeah, it's a bit of a weird era. This was the first to actually be animated by Warner Brothers themselves rather than outsourcing. But yeah, Legend of the Vampire is an interesting one because this one and also Monster of Mexico, those two basically have the gang in their classic outfits, but the design is basically the What's New style, but in their more classic outfits. Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. This one I remember having on VHS. In fact, I think I have the VHS somewhere. And yeah, but I never got the DVD of this. I've only ever had the Blu-ray. And this was only ever released on Blu-ray in the US. So, yeah. And this is out of print as well. This is can be quite an expensive one to get your hands on if you don't already have it. But here's the Blu-ray disc itself. And that, and it's one of those really, if I take the disc out there, I've already ripped it and that, but it's one of those really, really cheap Blu-ray cases. But yeah, this one's already ripped and everything, so this one, you know, as much as I like it, this one can easily, you know, just go into storage and that. This one I literally just ripped the other day. Futurama Season 6. So yeah, I did actually own this on DVD, actually. But yeah, this is the Blu-ray, and it's a UK Blu-ray. And it actually has the slipcover and that. I got this years later, though. I haven't had the Blu-ray for very long, actually. 2 or 3 years. This is well out of print on Blu-ray and that in the UK. In fact, I think the DVDs are as well, because Disney put them out of print. You can still, though, find them used pretty cheaply. They never released... I don't think they released Season 8 on Blu-ray in the UK. If they did, it's very rare. Season 7 they did, but 5 and 6 are the most common you'll find on Blu-ray in the UK. But as I said, I literally ripped this the other day, so that can quite happily go into storage. I didn't watch these last Halloween. I used to watch them every Halloween, but I haven't last year. But yeah, the Hotel Transylvania 3-film collection. The 4th film actually came out on DVD in the UK for Halloween this year, though I've already seen it because it came out on Amazon. Because if you don't know, the 4th film kind of went through a bit of hell, because originally it was meant for a cinema release, and because of COVID and everything, it just kept getting delayed until eventually Amazon Prime bought out the rights for the 4th film, which I think is looking back, is definitely the weakest out of the 4. I do really enjoy these films, though, particularly the first 2. I think the second one's my favourite. But yeah, basically Amazon owns the distribution rights for the 4th film, which originally went out on Amazon Prime Video. I've got actually a 4K download of it. So yeah, and I'm not going to buy the DVD. I don't think there's any exclusive special features on there anyway. As far as I'm aware, there's nothing exclusive to it. It did come out on Blu-ray and DVD in the US, but only DVD here in the UK. The 4th film, so yeah. If I see the US version for cheap, then maybe I might get that, so I've got all of them on Blu-ray. But yeah, the 3rd film actually came out in 4K Blu-ray as well, which is still available actually. And yeah, I do actually have a rip of that one. Here's a controversial film, Mrs. Brown's Boys, the movie. I'm almost certain I've ripped this. I'm almost certain I have. But if not, I'll just put it to one side. But yeah, I do own that. I went to actually go see this with my granny, actually, in the cinema. Yeah. I remember I was, you know, typical of my granny, though. Every time I took her to the cinema, right before the film and that, you know, she had to go to the toilet and that. And I had to take her in, and she was in there for a while. Thankfully, though, we didn't miss the start of the film. Just because, you know, there's like bloody half an hour bloody adverts and trailers, and I'm not joking, sometimes it is bang on half an hour. Here's another film. I think I've ripped this. If not, I'll double check. Padington, the first Padington film. The 3rd one is meant to come out next year, but yeah, it took me a while to see these films. I don't think I saw the first film until maybe 2019. I certainly didn't own it until like 2020. But the reason I skipped it for so long is basically because, like a lot of people, I saw the trailer and it looked like one of those, you know, typical live-action CGI hybrid films that was going to be crap. But it's not. It is fantastic. It is, you know, one of the most charming films out there. And yeah, I own the second one actually on 4K Blu-ray. So yeah, I think I might just keep that one out just for the sake of it. Now, I own another copy of this. Cars 2. This is the steelbook, which has a dint on there. The only reason I have the steelbook of this is because I got it super duper cheap. Like, I think it was only like £1.50. what's interesting about it is, obviously we've got the Blu-ray there, you know, artwork on that on the inside. We don't get a bonus disc. I can't remember whether this film had a bonus disc. I know the third film had a bonus disc, but only if you bought the 3D Blu-ray, which is out of print. And yeah, I mean, you can find it, but, you know, I don't want to buy a copy. My friend says he's got a copy of it, and he'll send us a rip of it. He still hasn't. But anyway, I can't remember whether the second film did or didn't. I'm assuming it did, because it's literally only got 2 bonus features on the disc. Yeah, Disney's a pain in the ass when it comes to bonus discs, particularly released in the UK, because now, if there's a bonus disc released, it's not getting a UK release. Or if it is, it's a very limited one. For example, the last Pixar film I bought physically was Turning Red. And I bought the US Blu-ray, the US 4K Blu-ray, because that one actually is true 4K. And the reason is because if you bought it on 4K Blu-ray in the UK, it would not have the bonus disc. Yeah. The only way to get the bonus disc in the UK is to get a now, I think it's out of print, steelbook of the film, which was exclusive to Zavvi. That was the only way to get the bonus disc in the UK. The thing is, though, if you bought the steelbook, it would only come with the standard Blu-ray, not the 4K disc. Yeah. So that's why I saw someone selling the US Blu-ray on eBay brand new for, I think it was actually a couple of pounds less than the standard UK 4K Blu-ray, but that included the bonus disc. So for that, I paid, I think, about £18 for it. So at the time, that was cheaper than that. So yeah, that's how I got that. But now they're following DreamWorks in not releasing 4K Blu-rays at all for the Pixar films. For example, Elemental, which I still haven't seen. I've got a 4K rip of it, actually, but I still haven't seen it to this day. It's one of those films I keep meaning to watch. That only has a Blu-ray and DVD release in the UK. It has a 4K release in the US. Doesn't have any release at all in Australia physically, because if you didn't know, this year Disney announced that they'd stopped doing physical releases in Australia, which is really weird, because Australia is one of the biggest markets for physical media. They get a lot more than we do. Like, even DreamWorks seem to do more physical releases than that over there than we do, and they got a lot of physical. Like, for example, I showed this last time, but they got the Young Dracula on DVD, all the series, whereas we only got the first one. But anyway, back to this, because this is an interesting one. So as you can see, there's space for 2 discs, but underneath here is a piece of cardboard. Now, what does that piece of cardboard say? And by the way, that code is over a decade out of date. It was out of date, my God. But it says, basically, to redeem your free DVD copy of the film, enter this code into this website to get sent a DVD. So yeah, basically, rather than just including the DVD and that, which, you know, most releases back then in 2012, you got the Blu-ray and the DVD if you bought the Blu-ray, particularly if you bought a steelbook. But I know that's the case for a lot of films in the US. Over here, it's very rare you'll get the DVD included with a Blu-ray now on any film. But yeah, it's really weird, the fact that, you know, if you wanted the DVD copy, rather than just including it with that, you'd have to put in that code to send off for it. Obviously, they were banking on a lot of people not bothering, which clearly the previous owner of that did. I mean, I still would, just because, you know, even though I'd never watch it, it's a free thing. So, you know, yeah, that's just a bit of an oddity, that one. Let's go on to some Doctor Who DVDs, eh? I actually watched the Tales of the TARDIS version of this last night, which is The Mind Robber. Yeah, I will keep this one out because it hasn't had yet a Blu-ray release. Though, saying that, this is actually an inferior version, because the version on iPlayer is a new HD remaster of it. That's only the Tales of the TARDIS version, though, is an HD remaster. This though is well, it's a very old DVD release. This it's a very early one. I mean, you can tell by if you look at the back of it at the bottom here, and also everything. This is a very early DVD release. Not extremely early, but still pretty early on. What year was this? I'm gonna guess 2005. So yeah, this was when they were just starting to add, you know, actual proper special features to them. But I do really like the Mind Robber. Yeah, I'll put that on the wrong side. Here's the one I'll have to double check to see if I've ripped. I think I have, but I can't remember. Ted. I really like the first Ted film. I rewatched it, I think it was either last year or 2021, which is actually when I bought the Blu-ray, because previously I only had the DVD. Interestingly, Ted, when this film came out, I was, let's see, what year was this when this came out? It's like 2012 or 2013. I can't remember. It says copyright 2012. So when this film came out, I believe I was only 13 at the time. And basically, the person, even though my dad was with us and that, basically, I was not allowed to go see this film at the cinema. Basically, you know, me and my dad had bought the tickets already. Well, my dad had bought the tickets, and we went up to the cinema, and the bloke said, "Have you got any ID?" For him, and my dad went, "No." Looking at me, I had brought any ID and that, and yeah, didn't let us in. Obviously now though, I've noticed they don't bother asking now because obviously cinemas are pretty desperate. So yeah, I guess as long as there's an adult there, then sure, go through. But yeah, wouldn't let us go through because I wasn't 15, even though I had a parent with us saying it was all right, who was going to see the film. So yeah, we had to get refunds, and then later we had to rent it from Blockbuster. We rented actually the Blu-ray from Blockbuster, and then later I actually got the DVD from Blockbuster on a sale, and only a year or two ago I got the Blu-ray. So yeah, but I do still enjoy this film. Again, I'll put that on one side. I'm pretty sure I've ripped it. If I have, it'll go in the box. If I haven't, then you know, I'm going there. Ooh. Right, Inferno Special Edition. This was one of the last special editions I got. I think I got this quite late, actually, because I already had the standard edition. I think, yeah, I got this in 2017, and the only reason I remember that is because I bought it alongside Series 4 of Sherlock. I remember I bought this along with it. I think it was also to get free delivery, I think, as well. And that, but yeah, there we go. Since this hasn't had a Blu-ray release in that yet, that'll go off to that side. We're going to see the same for a lot of these. Edge of Destruction. For a while, I thought this was really underrated. I don't think it is as much now. Not that I think it's become, you know, overrated. Just the fact I think a lot more people now appreciate this story. The part 1 is much better than part 2, mainly because of the directing. And that part 2 loses a lot of its creepy atmosphere. This is a much harder, sturdier case than that, because this is an original one. From like the first printings and that they did. This was also, along with the other two, the Daleks and that, the beginning box set. I think that was the first thing, not just myself, but my family ever ordered from Amazon. That was like the first thing we ever got from Amazon. So yeah, pop that to one side there. So loaded up 2 DVDs, we'll have to start going through these quicker. Doctor Who and the Silurians, and that "and" is an error that basically persisted throughout, because it was meant to just be called the Silurians, but that "and" was something that never got removed. So yeah, if you look at the back on the side, just like "and the Silurians." So yeah, interesting. It's also interesting the fact that even though this is a 7-parter, they split it across the episodes across the 2 discs, which is interesting. They had the first 4 episodes on one disc, the last 3 on the other, which is interesting because stuff like the Daleks and a lot of other 7-part stories, they put them all on one disc. So yeah, it's interesting that they split it across rather than just having a standard special feature disc. Oh, also something I should mention, I was about to mention before, about Pixar releases. The bonus disc for Turning Red, the bonus disc, guess how much material it has on there? It has just about half an hour. I think it's just under half an hour on the bonus disc, which could easily fit on the standard Blu-ray disc. So yeah, that's how Disney bloody shills. Anyway. Now this one, I'm hoping gets a bit better colour restoration than that for it. Though it is still pretty decent. The Ambassadors of Death. This story has grown on me over time and the more times I've watched it. And that, I remember the first few times I've watched it, I was just like, I mean, the story does drag on for a bit. It does not need to be 7 episodes long and that, but I do appreciate it and that the more times I watch it. And that I do. Well, yeah. The Ice Warriors. A lot of people don't like this story. I do. I do really like the Ice Warriors, actually. I do. I also remember getting this one, actually, from HMV back when it first came out. And yeah, it's a shame that the animation team from this one never got the chance to do another one. Unfortunately, they were supposed to, but unfortunately they went out of business. The animation team who did this one, actually, also worked on Tracy Beaker Returns, doing the animated segments and that for that, a lot of them. But yeah, shame that that was never to be, unfortunately. Right. Got another DVDs here. There is. Let's go some non-Doctor ones for now. So we've got Batman 1989. Yeah, I do have a 4K rip of this one, as well as I think I've got the 4K rip of Batman Forever and that as well. And that, but I can't remember whether I've ripped these Blu-rays or not. But so again, they're gonna go to one side. I don't think I am. Again, this one I'm pretty sure I have. I'll have to double check. It's a shame that we never got a sequel to this, but because this film was so bloody expensive and complicated to make, and that as well. The Adventures of Tintin, Secret of the Unicorn. I mean, it's kind of that. It's basically 2 and a bit books of the comic books, you know, shoved together with the ending of Red Rackham's Treasure sort of, you know, tacked on at the end. But I do really like this. And for those who don't know, Stephen Moffat wrote one of the draft scripts for this and that, but had to drop out because he was too busy doing this other thing called Doctor Who, as well as Sherlock and that at the same time. Now this, I have ripped some of this, but I never completed the rips and that for this, so this I'll have to complete the rips. Jamiroquai, High Times. This is Jamiroquai's Greatest Hits, the music videos. This is a little bit outdated now. Well, because obviously, you know, Jamiroquai's had other and that albums and hits since then. But the reason is because Virtual Insanity has had a 4K remaster and a proper 4K remaster since. So, yeah, a lot of the DVD masters are out of date. Now, I remember getting this. I remember getting it from... This is my second copy, not my original. My original one, unfortunately, is long since destroyed. Unfortunately, because I used to lend it and that to my bloody family all the time who didn't take care of it. But basically, I remember this came out months before. For some reason, months and months before the CD did, which is really weird. I remember getting the CD for Christmas. But yeah, and also interestingly, this has, and it says 25 hits on there, but it only lists 24 on the back. Because it doesn't have Runaway on there. Yeah, they've missed it. Like, I've just noticed that. 25 hits, but then it only lists 24, because for some reason, the new singles and that for this, because there was 2 new singles created for it, Radio and Runaway. Radio never got a music video, but Runaway did. And it is on this. I know it is, because I've watched it and I've ripped it and that before. But yeah, interestingly, the CD, though, Scandic CD, only has 19 tracks. So there are 6 tracks on here that are not on the CD. I think Supersonic is one of them, and I think King for It is another one, possibly. I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, I never finished ripping all the songs and that from this DVD and that, and I'm in 2 minds and that about it. But yeah, this is also well out of print and that as well. I think I'll put that on one side. Speaking of something out of print, Futurama Season 1. You see the original price I got this for? That's Entertainment. I do love these packaging, this packaging though, with everything, and these all sort of go together and that. Now this, just still in there. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's not Futurama. There's a disc, that's disc 3 from a season of South Park, though. That's on DVD. I do have the Blu-ray. Yeah, interesting that's in there. I'm in 2 minds whether to rip this. I mean, I could rip it for the special features and that, which it doesn't have a lot of. But the reason I'm debating that is because I'd rather get the NTSC version, because that is running at the correct frame rate and speed. This is actually running slightly fast, so I'm in 2 minds whether to rip this or not. So I'll put that alongside, and that'll be a maybe. That'll be a maybe. This I think I've already ripped. Ben 10 Race Against Time. I do have a bit of nostalgia on that for this. I have seen it quite a few times. It has a scene in it, though, that, like, for this being PG, there's a scene in this film where we basically have this corpse, essentially, this pretty much like rotting corpse almost type person that briefly comes alive for a second for a jump scare and then, you know, is then dead. Like, that always surprises me that is in this film. Yeah, it just kind of comes out of nowhere and just like, wait, that's in the film? Yeah, no, again, I have ripped that. Did this get a Blu-ray release? I can't remember whether it did or didn't. And if it did it get one in the UK? Now this... this I will put in there because I think I do have rips of this. I've ripped the special feature in that for this. The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. When season 20... I will put this alongside, but I think I will put that in there just because, one, it's inevitable to get a Blu-ray release, and 2, I think I've already ripped it as MP4, I think. So that's why I'm going to put that in there. But yeah, when the hell is that going to get a bloody Blu-ray release? Speaking of Blu-rays, that I need to finish ripping. The Batman, not to be confused with the 2022, was it 2021 film? No, this is the Batman animated series that I grew up with. Yeah, the Batman. Yeah, and I don't know if you can tell by this, but this is a US only Blu-ray. You can see there's no UK rating in that. I got this for, I think it was either £30 or £40. I think it was 30. Yeah, from a UK seller who basically just removed the digital code, which would be useless to me anyway. I started ripping this, but never completed ripping it. I did re-watch all the way through it. Ooh. But yeah, it has every episode in HD. Only the first season got a release on DVD here in the UK. But you want to avoid the DVDs of this because they are all cropped to 4:3. Whereas these are in HD and in 16:9. They're full aspect ratio because, as I mentioned last time, television, particularly animated TV shows, in the early to mid 2000s and even the late 2000s, they were animated in 16:9, but they were animated in such a way that they knew it would be cropped to 4:3 when it was broadcast back then. But they knew, because a lot of people were switching over to HD TVs when, you know, they would rebroadcast it in HD, they could then broadcast 16:9 versions for people to watch. So yeah, but interestingly though, this film is actually missing something. Because calling it the complete series is a bit of a lie, because it does not include the Batman versus Dracula. And that has never had a Blu-ray release, ever. It has had a DVD release, but never had a Blu-ray release. I do have a digital download of it, thankfully. But yeah, never ever had a Blu-ray release of that, which is weird why they wouldn't include it on this. How many discs is this? Yeah, it's a 6-disc set. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't. For example, Batman the Animated Series Complete Collection did include Mask of the Phantasm and that on there, on Blu-ray and that as well, and Batman versus Mr. Freeze, Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, so that was included on there, yeah. Bit weird, although then again, the Batman Beyond Blu-ray set, for some reason, includes Return of the Joker on DVD in the Blu-ray set, even though Return of the Joker has had a Blu-ray release on its own in the US. But even the US version still just includes the DVD. That's one of those oddities and that you can never quite figure out. Okay, this is not a DVD. This is actually not even a Blu-ray either. This is a cassette. Yeah. Horrid Henry's Haunted House. I do remember loving this book and that as a kid. I probably still have my original copies of that somewhere. And also, the artwork for the first editions, so much better than the ones we get today. They're so bloody generic. I don't think there's anything else in this drawer, apart from some old red noses. Yeah, these are the 2021 red noses, I believe. Yeah, I did unboxings of all of these on my other channel. But I've still got them all. In fact, I've got bloody loads of them. I think this might have been... Yeah, I think this was the last time like they did like 9 of them. Yeah, they did do 9. Yeah. And I did end up getting all of them, apart from the ultra rare. Because I ended up buying bloody loads of them. Yeah, I think that drawer is actually empty, so... Yeah. Alright, we've got more Doctor Who DVDs to go through. We'll quickly go through these ones. We'll have them all the same way. The War Games! Oh boy! I've got a story about this one. So I really do love the War Games. I remember I got this from Tesco, actually. It was the day we came back from holiday. I remember we'd just been on holiday, I think probably to Spain or somewhere. And we went to Tesco to get a few things, and this had only just come out. And thankfully my dad got us it. And I remember I watched the whole thing in one night. All 10 episodes. I ended up watching most of it on a portable DVD player. And that in my room. So, yeah. Now, I think it's disc 1 that has this problem. Yeah, it is. So this, I think this was one of the last times that I ended up lending my brother one of these DVD releases to watch. And this is probably also the reason why I stopped after this, is because I lent him this, and my brother watched it and that through his Xbox 360, which he then moved around because he always seemed to knock it, because he used to keep it on the windowsill. Yeah. And he managed to scratch the disc. Yeah, because basically all Xbox 360s were infamous for scratching discs, for having a basically ring around them. And in fact, you can still see a bit of the ghost of the line that there was on here. But basically what happened is that it doesn't have basically the buffing pads and that on there. The proper disc buffers and that on there to protect against the discs, which is how they saved a bit of money. So yeah, if you moved the console while the disc was inside, it would scratch the disc, which is what happened to this. And I remember taking it to Granger Games, and they had to basically put it through their disc resurfacer several times, and I managed to get it to rip. I don't know if it'll still play, but I did manage to get it to rip, which I'm happy enough about. So yeah, that I do have ripped as MP4s and that as well. So, but even so, I will put it to one side and pray it'll be okay. I need to rewatch this again at some point. Horror Fang Rock. Despite being the first story of the Graham Williams era, this is basically, you know, kind of a farewell, a last homage and that to the gothic horror of the... oh, God. My mind just goes blank. Philip Hinchcliffe era. This is basically... Yeah, now it was commissioned beforehand and that. So, yeah. And this is written by Terence Dicks, and it had to be written in a rush because initially he wrote what later became State of Decay. The only problem is that the BBC were concerned because they had another programme. It was either themselves or possibly ITV had another programme featuring vampires, so they didn't want vampires in Doctor Who and in another programme going out simultaneously, which is why this had to be rewritten really quickly. But I think it is fantastic. It is a fantastic. So it is one of the earlier ones where they only just started to add special features. You can also see that the cover on that is a lot simpler, though I do really like this cover. I think it is sort of spooky and atmospheric. And that in its simplicity. Whereas this is one of the ones where they kind of try to shove everything on there. I think it works, though, pretty well, fairly well in this one. Seeds of Doom. I think I did rip this to MP4 recently. I can't remember. I'll put that alongside since this hasn't had a release. And then finally, the Moonbase. This is easily one of the best animations that ever came out. It's possibly my second favourite. I think the Invasion is still my top tier, but yeah. What a shame Planet 55, you know, well, they did, some of them still do exist as Big Finish created, but you know, it's a shame that, you know, like I said, this was their last proper one. Because originally they were originally commissioned to do Underwater Menace. And I think, well, they would have done a much better job. They would have done a much better job. But yeah, I do really like the cover for this one as well. I remember I got this one from Asda, actually. Yeah. I think it was a Saturday and I went out to Asda and I think it was £14, I think this was. But yeah, I do really like this cover art and that. This was during the stage towards the end of the DVD run, but they were bringing back hand-drawn artwork and that like this, which, excuse me, I really wish they'd bring back this type of artwork and that for like the animated releases. I know they want to show off it being animated, but like this just looks so much better. Here's another one I'm debating ripping. But what year was this? 2012, 2013. Yeah, this would have been in HD, so... Though it does have special features on there, so maybe it is worth ripping. I think I went through this one last time, even. Yeah, I think I did. Family Guy. This was season 13, which is, I think, one of the last Family Guy seasons I got. In fact, I got all the seasons that got released on DVD, apart from the last one. Because by that point, I stopped caring. Ah! Here's an out-of-print release, which I got. You can see how much I paid. In the clearance was $15.99, now $16.99, because it had gone out of print. But, yeah, this is the Kung Fu Panda 3-film collection. Obviously now, well, it's going to become outdated because, obviously, a 4th film has been announced. But, yeah, these are all on Blu-ray and that, which are all out of print at the moment. Whether they do get re-released, hopefully they will, but I doubt it. But yeah, though I think I have ripped all 3 films. I'll have to double check that. I'll have to... You know what? The ones I need to double check, I'll put here, actually. So, Tintin, 2 Batmans. This is the one I need to double check as well. Deadpool 2. I do really enjoy Deadpool 2, and this also has the red case and the slipcover. Alright, it includes the longer better cut. And obviously the theatrical cut as well. I've watched both versions and I think I prefer the extended cut. Generally I always do because it's like more what I like. Ted was another one I needed to check. So was Padington and the 2 Mrs. Brown's Boys. So much dust in here, which is why I'm sneezing. Mrs. Brown's Boys Christmas box of crackers. Yeah, 5 episodes across 2 Blu-ray discs. And I remember, I think this was either £10 or £15. I'll need to double check that one. What Blu-ray is that? I can see there's a few more releases than that over there. And that I need to check. Is there any more releases in here? There's a load of other red noses. And that. There's another DVD here. I need to rip it. Robbie Williams. And Through. And Through It All. Sorry. Yeah. This is a bunch of different live performances from, as it says, 1997 to 2006, including Rudebox. The only... Yeah, because Robbie Williams did not actually retire for 3 years. And he says this himself. After basically the tour he was doing at the time ended, which was for his previous album. And yeah, Rudebox was basically as a promotion and that as part of it. But yeah, as you can see, it's advertising Rudebox there, which I do actually own. But yeah, that is the only song from Rudebox, that album, to actually have a live performance. And it's a shame because that song and that album gets a lot of flack, a lot of hate as the low point. But I really like Rudebox. I really like Rudebox. Yeah. It's a shame it wasn't on the 20th anniversary album. Let's have a look. Get on my hands. These here fucking hurts. Oh dear, we've switched. I've accidentally switched camera lenses there. Or did we? Hey, there we go. Let's see if there's any more. I think it's just red noses down here. Yeah, I just got a load of red noses. I wonder how many people actually keep their red noses. I do. I've still got them all, including the ones that are made out of foam, which some of them, the ones that have any white on them, go a bit yellow after a while. Oh, yes, there's something else here. The Simpsons Christmas 2. Not really much to see. I mean, a couple of these are very loosely Christmassy episodes. But there we go. I can go in the box now. Oh, my knee. Give me a second, everyone. I need to go and then blow my nose when I'm going along. Where's the tissue? There's the tissue. Oh. I tell you, that dust. It's going right up your nose. There's no soap. Where's the bloody soap? That's the problem going through all these like DVDs and that, and Blu-rays and that. Most of them, you know, are basically just sat here for over a year, and that, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you know, in that time they can accumulate quite a bit of dust, which then goes right up your nose and makes your nose start dribbling and sneezing like hell. So, yay! Ugh. That's great. I'll wash my hands of that. Let's see. Let's turn the light on in the hall. Hey, the hall light. I don't know if I should start filling one of the other boxes. Oh look, there's an old drawing I did of the Supreme Dalek. What are these still doing here? So am I needle nose pliers? What are they doing here? Bloody useful them. Now what could this be for? Yeah, there's actually an empty can of it here. The only reason I kept this can is so I'd know which type to order again if I needed it. And if you watched my videos between 2019 and 2022, I think it was. Yeah, like between like June 2022, July 2022 through then. Basically, most of my videos then were recorded on this camera, which is, I've still got it. I don't use it very often now. In fact, I haven't used it in nearly a year, almost. I did use it actually for some behind-the-scenes recording on a short film I did for my sister for her film project for school. But yeah, there's a Panasonic G7, sorry, the G9's the newer one. But yeah, the reason I don't use stuff like this anymore is, yes, it does have the advantage of being, you know, mirrorless camera with swappable lenses and that. It weighs a ton. It weighs an absolute ton. And also, for some reason, this records audio at a really low bit rate. At 120 megabits a second, 20 kilobits a second, sorry, I should say, which is fucking low. For example, my main camera that I use for recording my videos now is a Sony ZV-1, and that records at 16-bit, basically. It records at CD quality, which is perfect. That's perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable on that for me, and that more than good enough. So, yeah. I'm just shocked that that one hasn't. Nah, but still though, regardless though, this is still a really good 4K camera. It's still really good. Not as nice as my Sony one, but still really good. And which is why I haven't bothered selling it. I could sell it and actually make, you know, probably get, I'd say, £200 easy for less, probably. But the reason I don't is because, again, it makes a very good spare, particularly if I need to record any behind the scenes or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. At one point I planned to possibly use it as a webcam, but the fact that it's so bloody weighty and you can't use it plugged in. You have to use it off batteries unless you've got one of those fake battery things. Anyway, what I'm going to start doing now is start boxing up some of the other stuff. Some of the non-DVDs and Blu-rays. So, grab a box. So this is a box. In fact, there's 3 of them, you might have seen. Now, these were boxes my granny's pads came in. And unfortunately, she got a box of 3 of them delivered. Unfortunately, she'll, you know, basically we're just giving them away to this place for any resident who wants them because, well, they're useless to us. And that, so yeah, it's a shame that there's basically 3 boxes of pads and pull-ups and that were bought on that for that. Unfortunately, you know, she was never able to use. It's a shame. Yeah. What should I start with? I'll put these to one side. I know. There's receipts in there. We'll put them on one side because we'll start with the heavier stuff. Look, Scrooge there on DVD. Is this getting a 4K release? I can't remember. I'll plonk that on one side. But these, as much as I like them, I don't have any room to put them in. So they're going to have to go in a storage. This is, wow, I'd forgotten how bloody heavy this was. So this is the Batmobile from the Nolan era. Oh, you can see it thickly adjusted. These are pretty heavy. Now, these were released for initially, I think they were like £30–40. But then they came out at Asda and I think they were like £16, £17, £18, maybe even 15. But yeah, I did pick up a few of them. This is obviously the Nolan Batmobile. And they are die-cast and they weigh quite a lot. They are pretty weighty. That can go there on the bottom. Then, and I have seen this one since this is the only one I actually opened up just to have a look at it. But this is the Mystery Machine with Shaggy and Scooby. I have seen this one a couple of times since, and I was tempted to get a second one, to be honest. But yeah, really, really, really nice. One of the nicest Mystery Machines released. And I do quite like sort of artwork and that on there. I just wish it was a little bit more, less generic and more actual, you know, ScoobyDoo artwork and that on there. And then the final one. The main one I got, and I think this was the first one I got, the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean with lights. So yeah, this one you don't get a figure, but you do get lights, which honestly I really like. The thing is though, I only ever saw one of these. Basically, if I'd seen another, I've been looking for ages for a second one, and that. But I've never seen a second one, at least not at that price, because I did want one to open, but unfortunately not the case. So that one is gonna have to just stay sealed. It does look really nice in its box though. Up here, one. Can I reach the other? Oh, hello. We'll go over that in a second. Come in. On top of the wardrobe. Oh, 2. Oh, the figure's dropped down. Oh no. Can we put it back in place? This, I think you can still pick this up, actually. But yeah, this is the Silurian 3-pack. Oh, it's meant to go completely sideways. Yeah, third one doesn't really hold in very well. We're going with the comically over. But yeah. Back when it came out, I had two of them. One of them kept sealed, the other one I opened. But yeah, this one though wasn't sold as well because it is still available. Yeah, at least it was the other day when I checked. Here's something that definitely isn't, which again I think I did a video on this, which I found earlier this year, which is Creation of the Dalek set. And yeah, I think one of my B&Ms just got some of them back in, and that's back. This was months ago. This was quite a few months ago now. But yeah, and I think I picked up. I think they picked up. I think 1 or 2 for myself, and then 1 for my friend. Because I was like, yeah, might as well. Yeah, I picked up 2 for myself, 1 for my friend, and that's because we both wanted another one. And yeah, this is the sealed one, which can go in the box, in the lovely, lovely box. Speaking of ones that picked up here, here's a sealed History of the Daleks set 11, Genesis of the Daleks, and this is possibly if not my favorite, one of my favorite sets, and that was released despite its inaccuracies. I do still really love this set. I do really love this set. I do love Creation of the Daleks set as well. But yeah, and then there's a very recent one. And it still has the receipts and that in there. For it, there we go. Pop them under there. History of the Daleks set 13. Though really, this shouldn't have been called History of the Daleks set. This really, it's like I mean, the Core Hill School set didn't get called History of the Daleks set, whatever number it was at the time. So yeah, it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. The numbering, has just kind of gone away. The more it's gone on. Will this fit in this bloody box anyway? I'm just trying to make sure it kind of fits snug in there where it's not crushing. Oh, just spotted this one before. This is the robot set, and while I love the robot in it, the Fourth Doctor. Why do I have to mess with it? And pardon me, it's like basically a lot of it is an improvement. Like for example, the trousers are an improvement. I would, the colour of the hat is a little bit closer, but for some reason the hair has a bit of a grey wash for some reason. The scarf, which was actually a little bit, slightly, dullified, a little bit dirty in that, which matched it better. This is a really bright, vivid pastel colour type one, which is off. But the main thing is the jacket is just far too light for some reason. Yeah, the safari jacket is just far too light. I don't know why. It's just like variant for the sake of fucking variant. Yeah, where can that one plonk? Can that one just plonk there? Yeah, I remember I got that one. Well, I got that one at some point, clearly. Yeah, I've got some other loose Daleks there, which I've got the boxes for them. I don't know what to do. Tell you what, I'll go grab them. And we'll decide what to do. Hey, there's one there. Where the fuck did I put the other one? I put it here. Which one's this? Oh, there's Xbox. Good. Good. I think these ones, much as it pains me, I'm going to have to put these back in the box and just put them in the storage because I think I've got a loose one of that open at home. This is Destiny of the Daleks. Why this has tinfoil around its neck, I don't know. I'm actually going to take it off now. Why did I put tinfoil around its neck? Reasons. You'll notice this one has a silver plunger. No, that is not a factory error. That is because the other one, which is over here, the other one I swapped with one of my Genesis Daleks. So basically make it look like Dalek 5, I think it was, from Destiny of the Daleks. Obviously it's not accurate to that, and that at all, but still, just to make it a little bit more like that. But yeah, Destiny of the Daleks set. And yeah, I still do like Destiny of the Daleks set. Is decent, and yeah, God, I remember, God, just looking back at these boxes, I'm just remembering how shit it was, these boxes were, particularly, you know, I mean, yeah, because look how flimsy it is, because I'm amazed they haven't fallen apart, and I really just disliked the plain white backdrop. It's just like so dull. But yeah, you can see there I've cut along the bottom of that, so I can put them back in. This one I did actually rip a bit there because I didn't cut along the bottom bit properly. So that one I did slightly rip initially, because I cut along one side perfectly and then couldn't be arsed with the other side. Once it's in there like that, and especially when you put the bottom on like that, it's very hard to tell. So there we go. You never know. Except if you have eyes. If you have eyes, then maybe you'd know. The Genesis one, oh, I'm debating with the Genesis one. I used to just have these, well, I still do, I have these out next to me. I used to just, you know, play with them and twiddle with them when I was watching TV and that. And you'll see them quite a few on quite a lot of my previous live streams where I've live streamed in here. Particularly this one, which this one has a dodgy eye. Yeah, as you can see there. It's not actually the pupil that's wrong, it's basically the white paint is slightly off to the side a little bit, which is really irritating. Got a load of cassettes in this drawer, big Finish ones as well, and a load of don't fall over. Now what are these? What are these? I'll show these off. I'll show these first two off quickly. So what are these? Because these are DVDs. So these are prototype DVDs, discs 1 and 2, for Six Sec Productions 2009 to 2019 collection. And this was originally going to be released as a collection of all the short films I've ever done from, well, 2009 to 2019. And yeah, I couldn't really generate enough interest in it. And I considered doing a Blu-ray in that as well, but yeah. Basically, I made prototype discs for the first two discs. And that there, you can see they've got the artwork and that on there. They've got a kind of static effect over it because a lot of the video projects I had at the time went missing for years until I found them. But yeah, those are just prototype discs that never got a release. And a lot of the behind the scenes talks I did for it, I ended up just releasing them on YouTube. Oh, okay, so here's a few CDs. Custom ones I've done. Nightcore Disc 1, Nightcore Disc 2. That was for a cassette release, because that I did, a cassette I made, because basically when I started getting back into cassettes, the only cassette player I actually had of anything was basically this boombox that I'd had for years. In fact, I think it was either my mum's or my dad's and that beforehand. I think it was my mum's originally. And pardon me, the only way to record to cassette was either off the radio or off a CD. So what I would do is basically burn CDs to it for side 1 and side 2 and do them that way. Oh! Okay. I think I ended up giving one of these to Neil Cole. I know I gave him the cassette of this, but this is the Blackpool Restored Audio. This is a 50-minute loop of that on CD. And here is the K9 audio again, 50-minute loop. And the reason is because it was put onto one of these, which is a 100-minute cassette, 50 minutes per side, which are very, not very common. Which is why I did that. So yeah, put them on the CD. What's this? Doctor Who theme variations. Again, disc 1 and 2. This was done as a cassette for one of my old film studies teacher. I did a cassette of various Doctor Who themes, a lot of them Big Finish ones and that, which again put them on a CD to then record them from a boombox onto cassette. Nightcore Volume 2, Disc 1. Oh. Oh yes, here we go. I wonder if people can read my handwriting on this and what they say. If you can't read it, it says Ryan J. Cheshire, Greatest Shits. This is Disc 1, this is Disc 2. I only ever did one of these cassettes, but this was for my Greatest Hits or Greatest Shits. Because if you don't know, I make my own terrible songs. Yeah. I can't sing, but it doesn't bloody stop us, can it? But yeah, I've currently to date, earlier this year, actually, I released my 5th album called Alien Invasion, but after I did 3 albums, I kind of had enough for a while, so I did a Greatest Hits or Greatest Shits where that had 17 songs and that on it, from my first 3 albums plus 2 new ones. But I do plan to do a 6th album, and that mainly a lot of it is about going to be about my granny and that, and what happened with that, and also the pain of basically, and I'm going to talk seriously on that about this. So basically, I think it's been nearly 2 years already. If it hasn't, it's it's been definitely well over a year. But basically, I went to the doctors and that again well over a year ago, because myself and my mum particularly reckoned I had autism. So basically to get, and it was something also, I think the job centre at the time, or might have been my employer at the time, actually recommended me, to go and, get it checked just to see. Because there's a lot of, beneficial things in that if you do have a diagnosis, and I'd like to know, because it would explain a lot of things. So basically I went to my doctor and that, and they'd fill out a load of forms and that, and then you get put on a waiting list, because there was one person in the entire Northeast who can give you a diagnosis, and it is up to a 2-year waiting list. And I've been waiting, basically I might have already been waiting 2 years, I don't know. But yeah, the interesting thing was, I was still waiting on that list. Still waiting for bloody ages. And literally just over a month ago, when it was back, this was back in September, when I went basically to the doctors and that about my kidney stones, which I ended up having to go in a hospital about, which I've still got them, by the way, 2 of them. But yeah, they said, oh, on your medical records, oh, you have autism, and that, will you be all right travelling alone? And I went, really? It says that on there? They said, yeah, it says it on your medical records. And I went, really? Because I've never had the official diagnosis. And they said, oh, you have. What was even stranger, the other day, a couple of days ago, I got a letter in the post saying, oh, any autism updates and that we will send you via text rather than by letter, which is interesting because they hadn't sent me any other letters up until that point. So yeah, I don't know whether they've looked at the form and that's filled in and they just decided, yeah, you've got autism. I mean, the doctor that I saw at the time said they were 99% certain that I'd have it, which, yeah, I ticked every box on the thing, and that, so I am somewhere on the spectrum, which is what I'm going to call my next album. But yeah, I just find stuff like that really odd. Anyway, don't know if you can read my writing in that for this. This is discs 1 and 2 of Scooby-Doo and the Zombie Island Civil War. You know, I found that me being pissed off about things gives me the energy to basically make stuff like this. Like, I would have never have made done a Scooby-Doo audiobook if I wasn't so pissed off, basically, about sort of stuff. So yeah, if you didn't know, Scooby-Doo, Return to Zombie Island, my favourite Scooby-Doo, you know, anything ever. Not just, you know, direct-to-video film, but my favourite Scooby-Doo thing ever. In 2019, it got a direct-to-video sequel, Scooby-Doo Return to Zombie Island, and it's terrible. It is terrible. The animation's worse, and that, I mean, I can understand why the original one was done on cell animation, and that film cost 10 million to make. Had a budget of 10 million. The sequel only had a budget of 1 million, or I think just under that. But yeah, I can understand stuff like that. But the story is just terrible. Not only, it's one of those ones, for those who don't know, it's one of those ones which basically, at every opportunity, basically tries to retcon the original to saying that it didn't have real monsters. It was all just marsh gas, which makes no fucking sense. Like, the cat creatures were clearly fucking real, so were the zombies. You had a witness. You had a witness. So yeah, I was so pissed off at that sequel, which I never can. I decided to do my own sequel to Zombie Island just to prove, you know, not just to myself, but, you know, to Warner Brothers and that, you know, if you had to do a sequel, which you shouldn't do anyway, it didn't need a sequel, that I could do a better one. And I stand by this. I'd say, you know, I wouldn't call it amazing or anything, but I'd call it, you know, this is 10 times better and loyal to the original and that as well. So yeah. So if you haven't listened to it, it is on my other YouTube channel, on the Six Sec Productions YouTube channel. If you haven't listened to that, then please do. Oh. Yeah, this is just a random CD. It's not even in a wallet, this one. This is just I think this is a karaoke CD I just have for some reason. Okay. And the rest of these... Oh, no. Okay, so... Let's just quickly go through that one, 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 that one. It's an interesting shade of CD. I never thought I'd use that terminology, but there we go. Yeah. So this is, I think, yeah, this is series 1 through 3, I believe. Yeah. Again, each CD would be a side of a cassette of the Don Free Doncaster podcast. Wow. And if you don't know what that is that I did, don't listen to it. Really don't. God, it's bad. It has its own separate YouTube channel for it. Oh, here's some more interesting stuff. 6 Sec Adventures, Series 1 audio series. So yeah, it's a Series 1 of the 6 Sec Adventures audio series. Actually, no, this is Series 1 Part 1, because I never actually finished it. Yeah, the last story, The Time for Toys, which was going to be the finale to the first series of 6 Sec audio adventures, I never finished. I finished half of it, which actually, that story actually features the Toy Maker, which is why I'm also reluctant to finish it at the moment, because I don't want to just be seeing it as, oh, I'm copying that or capitalizing on that. So yeah, maybe one day I'll finish it. It's went through a bunch of revisions, like. And then there's my first album across 2 CDs. again for the cassette, side 1 and side 2. Loner Life. Yeah, I wonder what that's about. But yeah, my first album, which ooh, yeah, a lot of people who have listened to my music say it's just so bad it's good. Which, yeah, I can see why. Some people legitimately enjoy it, which I'm just like, okay. Yeah, there's my second album, which is also my longest, Insanity. Again, I wonder what that's about. Yeah, there's all of those. No, I'm actually going to put these back in these drawers and that for now. Is there anything else of note? Oh, it's a box for... Is this for the cartridge or just the stylus? I think it is just for the stylus itself. Okay. It does have something in there, so I'll keep that. And there's a random photo of Bobby in here. I think I know what this is. It was when I was trying to test out the photo printer that my granny's got. I say had, it's mine now. Yeah. There is a wall adapter for Google Chromecast 2. Excellente. Cassettes in the bottom drawer. Nothing in that one on. And I've got a load of figures and stuff over here. There's a lot of stuff I just look at and I just go, oh, that's something that can go in the box. I just found something that can go in the box. This one is unique because it's not actually bashed up like the ones in B&M you'll find, if you can still find them. Yeah, the bobblehead, this is actually a sealed up one. Yeah, that can go in the box. Let's see, what way would be the best way? I'm just having a think. That may be better. Just trying to figure out a way to. Yeah, that can go in there like that. And that can bloody go somewhere. I'm going to show you guys this. I've got a problem where I've got like a gap down here for something, but you know, what the fuck am I going to fit in that small gap? I'm not sure. I've got a load of Five Nights at Freddy's figures here. Will they fit in that gap? The answer is no. Okay. What I might do is do a bit of rearranging. We'll put that in upright. Maybe I'll put that one down once, and that then. But that can fit in there like that. And just. Yeah, there's the song figure. Plonk him in there. There's a Circus Freddy figure. We'll put him in there. There's a Circus Chica figure. We'll put it in there. We'll put it in there. These are still available, I think. Well, they are. I've seen them at Smith's still. There's a Circus Bonnie figure. I actually have all but 2 of the Five Nights at Freddy's figures, actually. The only ones I don't have is Fireworks Freddy, because he's only ever been released in the US and Australia, I believe. And Nutcracker Foxy, which might still be getting a UK release. He was on the UK Funko website and then just disappeared. So, you know, if he gets a UK release, hopefully I'll pick him up. Yeah, there we go. It's in there. Balloon Foxy. Notice it says exclusive. He wasn't actually exclusive to anywhere in the UK. This is just a generic sticker, because in the US he was exclusive to Walmart. But over here, he was actually just a general release. He was released literally everywhere. And I think everywhere else in the world as well. So, yeah, will he fit in them? Just about. Yes, he will. Hooray. A Wave 1 re-release Bonnie. And basically these are re-released ones, which these ones actually are better than the original Wave 1 releases because they do have better paint apps on them. There's a Wave 1 re-release of Gold Freddy there. The Wave 1 Freddy re-release is particularly better. Well, oh, will he fit in the box? The answer is no. No, he's not going in the box because he won't bloody fit. He will not fit, unfortunately. Yeah, and this I'm not going to put in the box, so I do really like it. Mr. Tickle. This is a McDonald's Mr. Tickle. Do you remember these? These were released with Happy Meal toys, although you could buy them separately. I ended up getting a load of them. This was my granny's, but she gave it to me because I really wanted a Mr. Tickle and I couldn't bloody find him anywhere, so I ended up getting this one off my granny. Because initially it was hers. That one is not going in there. That one's going to go. That one's going to go somewhere on my unit. I just don't know where. Yeah. So, if we just recap things. Load of DVDs and that there. Those ones are keeping them. They're going in a thing. There's a gotch. Those ones over there. Got a check. And that. The skill stuff and that on the top of here. That's my mum's scuffers. Oh, look, what's behind there? Yeah, so that's one of my mum's dolls there. But behind there's my stuff. So, yeah, that box is... I mean, if we take a look at this box now, it's nearly full. It's nearly full. It's got a little bit of room there. I don't know whether I should leave that room or not. But I don't really know what else I could realistically put in there. I don't know. There's also other stuff here, like there's my old TV, which I keep here. And behind there is a PS3 Super Slim. And there's all that stuff and that down there. So, I don't know. Oh! More of me, Mr. Man. Way out of here. Hey. Little Miss Sparkle. And Mr. Tall. This might have been one of my granny's ones, because I would never rip the box like that. But they're in the cupboard. In the wardrobe, I should say. So they're in this wardrobe in here, so they're mine now. I'm going to try and move... I'm going to have to move this box out of the doorway and somewhere else. Because my mum, basically, when she comes here tomorrow, and I don't think I'll be here when that happens, my mum does not give a shit about anything that isn't hers. And will just throw it to one side. Basically, we'll just chuck it or whatever. So yeah, I remember once she scratched one of my laptops because she put a plate on top of it. So yeah, I think I'll move this into the hall, just so there's a bit of space. I'm bloody knackered after that, like. God, I'm absolutely knackered after that. I think I'm just tired in general, because I've been up early every day on this. So yeah, in a minute I'm going to start answering some of the questions and that in the chat. I don't know whether this will be the last live stream I do here. I honestly don't know that. I hope it isn't. Everyone, give me a moment. I need to go have a wee. I'll be a moment. Right. Here we go. Excuse me. I am back. And we're going to go... yeah, interesting, just so you know, this settee isn't very old, by the way. God, it looks horrible on this camera. It looks like it's bloody... I think because it's like one of those ones where it looks really weird on the camera. I think it's just my terrible tablet camera. It doesn't want to focus on it. Yeah, it looks really odd on that. I think because it's like little different woven patterns, but when you zoom out on it, it looks weird. It looks green, but it's not. Yeah, that settee though is actually a sofa bed, actually, and it's not very old. We got it when my granny moved into this apartment. But yeah, the good news is though we need a new settee ourselves at the minute because ours is bloody falling to bits. And we were going to get one, actually. We were going to get a new one, but this one will suffice, and we're going to get like another like 2-armchair that they still sell at SCS, I think it is, to match it. And that as well, so it doesn't go to waste. So, let's go to a couple of comments. Shiny Wedge says, nice job with the Renegade. They're pretty hard to paint, but you matched the colour pretty well. Yes, I've got to thank my friend on that for that, who found the paint for us, the exact type of paint that they would have used. Obviously not the literal exact one, but basically the exact colour, which he had gotten the information on that from Dark 6388 and that, who also thank you for them. So yeah, basically that paint, which is linked in the description, by the way. But yeah, that paint, basically that is the closest you will get, essentially, to the thing, because it is the same colour on that. And again, it's a little bit more expensive spray paint. It is, I think it is $10.99 or something like that. So it's a little bit more, but as I said, it is good quality as well, though. It is good quality, and as you saw in the video, you can do several Daleks with it. Yeah, I'm still debating whether to redo the skirt a little bit. I don't know. I think... But it was a learning experience for us as well. It was a learning experience. So I think what I might do possibly in the future is, even though it'll be more difficult and more fiddly, I might consider masking off the hemispheres with tape next time, possibly. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still debating whether to do little touches up to them. I mean, from the mid section upwards, couldn't be happier. Perfectly happy with that. Though it's those hemispheres. The hemispheres, you know, make it an absolute fucking nightmare to do, because no matter which way round you do it, whether you mask off the hemispheres or whether you paint the hemispheres afterwards, I'm going to put that to one side so it doesn't fall out of my pocket. They are an absolute fucking nightmare to do. So, yeah, for my first proper attempt of, you know, properly painting a Dalek and not just... And that, I mean, it's not my first ever attempt, but, you know, for my first, like, proper one and that, I'm happy enough with them. I'm happy enough with them and that, and I do vastly prefer them, and that's how they look, to how they originally look. So, yeah, But the reason I didn't call it a how-to guide or anything like that is because I wanted to document the whole process of it, from start to finish and that, and just, it being a learning experience for me, but also it could be a learning experience to someone else because they could see where I went wrong and what not to do and what not to do, more importantly. So, yeah. The blue tack method does work. It does work. But getting the blue tack off, to this day, there are still teeny tiny little bits of blue tack which still refuse to fucking come off. And I'm a bit scared of pulling them off because I don't want it to pull any paint off when it comes off. So, yeah. But we'll see with that. What was I going to say? And also, with the Dalek Sec, I mentioned at the start of the video, it is in the first 2 minutes of the video that I mentioned I was wrong about the Dalek Sec. Like, literally within half an hour of the video being up, I had someone message me saying, "Oh, you were wrong about the Dalek Sec." I was just like, yep. I mentioned that at the start, and the reason I left the footage in is to basically, one, it was to demonstrate basically how you would do the next section if you wanted to do it, and two, was to show I was wrong about something as well. So, yeah. Saying that, though, the completely matte that they've got on there isn't still 100% correct, because the matte on the actual rings themselves is more of a satin type finish rather than just a pure matte finish. It shouldn't all just blending like that. There should still be a subtle tone, but that is still closer though. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for that. Eric Hartman says, guess what? At 11 p.m. tonight, Aquatine Forever Plasman airs on Adult Swim. Please watch. Oh, Aquatine Hunger. Aquatine. Yeah. I've only ever seen a few clips of Aquatine, so probably not. Also tonight, I think it starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Children in Need, and there'll be the Children in Need Doctor Who mini-sode, which I think is meant to be 5 minutes long, which is pretty short. Like, they used to be like 7-8 minutes long, which leads into Liberation of the Daleks, which, the thing is, with Liberation, like, alright, so one, I'm not going to be watching all of bloody Children in Need because it's gotten really shit, like the past, not just few years, but like for nearly a decade now. So I'm not going to watch that. I'll just watch the highlights afterwards like I normally do. But yeah, it does make me disappointed that basically this will probably be the Daleks' only contribution to the 60th, which is a shame. I would have really liked them to be in there. And what makes me worried the most about the 60th is it's not really going to feel like an anniversary special, just more like a bunch of specials. Because with the exception of the Toy Maker, there's nothing really that, and I mean, it doesn't really feel as much like an anniversary special, as it does. It feels more like, an anniversary special of Series 4 than anything else, really. But, we'll see. Rob the Old Mongoose says, you heard about the steelbook for the colorization of the Daleks? Yes, I did. I've pre-ordered one. In fact, I did a video on it. I did do a video on it. Unfortunately, the video, for some reason, failed to upload, even though it said it had uploaded it. And I didn't find out until the next day. And by that point, it was going all over Twitter and everything else. And by that point, I just thought, well, there's no point in, doing a news story where everyone's already found it out. Because I found out pretty early on, mainly because I got emailed it from, I think it was HMV or somewhere, but I have pre-ordered it already. But yeah, I'm also a little bit wary about it. The colour of the bloody dome lights are wrong. Shouldn't be orange. But yeah, we'll see what that looks like. Because that actually does come out on the 50th. And I probably will do a review on it and that. And, yeah, later get the Steelbook release, which hopefully has nice artwork on it. Because at the moment we don't know what the artwork looks like for any of them. Zombie Box Reviews. Hello, I came across your channel a few days ago when I was looking for reviews on the new Doctor Who sets from B&M. They were excellent reviews, my friend. Thank you very much. Yeah, basically, I'm a bit of a controversial figure in that in terms of like my reviews of stuff, mainly because I say bluntly what I think. I don't sugarcoat it at all. You know, if I like something, I'll say I like. If I don't, I don't. It's basically simple as, and I know a lot of people think I moan and complain about everything. I do moan and complain about most things, and that I'm a bit, you know, I am a perfectionist when it comes to a lot of stuff, particularly whenever I'm buying anything, whenever I'm spending my money on that, you know, I expect it, you know, to be up to a certain standard. So, yeah. Essentially, yeah, my nose is fucking itchy after that. So, I just, well, I am just pretty blunt on that, but yeah, at some point I will get the Deadly Assassin set. I'm either going to get it myself when it goes on sale, not if, when, because it will. It will. Because that has been, like, even when I was looking round and to the B&Ms I've been to since, that's just being a shelf sitter there. And that, not as much as, like, previous sets have been, but even so, you know, it's going to be a shelf warmer. But essentially, I'll get that when it goes on sale, maybe down to, if it goes down to £15 like the others, or I'm going to ask for it for Christmas. Basically, whichever one comes first, but I will eventually get one of those. I'll probably only get the one, and that because there's no, like, I get a lot of Dalek sets because I like to army build. Basically, that's why I get. If you're wondering how many of each set I got, I ended up with 6 of each of the new sets I got. And the reason I did is I always buy, me and my friend, and a couple of other friends actually, have this situation where we buy an extra lot, and that in case basically one of us can't get them for whatever reason. So if they can't get them, we can then, you know, send them off to them. For example, same kind of thing happened with some boy on Lines ones. That's what happened there, though he's not getting the current ones that are being released. So yeah, but thankfully that wasn't the case. So I just ended up keeping them, and I was happy to have that many of them and that anyway, because it meant I had more Daleks to experiment on when I was painting them. So if anything went wrong, then you know, I had Daleks to spare, thankfully. So yeah, plus I could have an army and that of them as well. So yeah, and I always like to keep at least one of them sealed, nice and new in the box. Shinywork says, you know, the bronze NSD Dalek does have problems, but it doesn't really resemble the Metaltron, but it feels at least a good army building. Yeah, the thing is, my biggest problem with that Dalek is the fact that the bloody eye joint and the ball joints are fucking bronze. Why? It makes no sense. It would have been cheaper to do them black, because that's basically the default colour anyway, which is what they did on Dalek Sec, which meant they could have just had black ball joints across the board. It was more expensive for them and more complicated to do them bronze. Why? Oh wait, of course it was the factory. It was the factory's fault, of course. It was the factory's fault. Okay. So yeah, I did that. I've only ever painted one of them black, actually, and that, like, the ball joints aren't too bad to do, but the bloody eye pivot is a nightmare. And the NSDs are much more difficult to take apart, and I'm not even going to attempt it because you are far more likely to break it, unfortunately, because basically you've got to essentially remove a bit in the neck bone and inside, and the to the hemispheres and that, and it's just like, I don't want to do that because it's more likely to break, or at least damage it in some way. Zombie Box Review says he usually buys 2 of each. I hate the new packaging on this latest sex. Right, are you talking about the style guide or the packaging itself? Because in terms of the actual boxes, like not the style of the packaging, but the boxes, I I much prefer the window boxes we had before, but I will at least say with the latest lot, the cardboard is much sturdier than it's been since 2016, I'd say. Like, as it's, because the cardboard's been getting thinner and thinner and thinner. So at least with these ones, they may be blister ones, but at least the cardboard is thicker. I'll give it that. But I don't like the fact they're still blister cards. In terms of the packaging design motif, I prefer it to the one we had before. One, I prefer the logo, and two, I think it looks a bit more visually interesting. The other was very muted, very almost black and white, nearly, because you had that white background with a couple of grey lines going down it, and then you had, grey on a lot of the packaging and a very dark, almost black blue navy colour on the rest of it. It just kind of looked, it was kind of the opposite. It was kind of the opposite of like the 2014 packaging design or the early Whittaker design, where it was basically bright yellows and blues and, was this close to looking like a bloody Barbie toy at times. Like, it was just the complete opposite. Like, I think this is a bit of a happier medium, though I will say I wish rather than having white, it was like that starry field design that's on the standard release of the 14th Doctor Sonic. If it had that, I think it would look so much nicer, because I really hate white cardboard boxes because they mark very easily, they get stained easily, and they're much more susceptible to just yellowing on their own accord. So, yeah. I also have the original K1 robot as well. He's in storage. He's wrapped up in bubble wrap in a storage box somewhere. I can't remember whether I think he's in the loft. I think he's still in the loft, but yeah, he's wrapped up in bubble wrap. I do have the original K1 robot release. Yeah, and I think he is fully complete. Yeah, if I remember rightly. Yeah, the darker paint apps on the Fourth Doctor's Safari coat was more accurate on the original releases. It was more accurate, so why he brightened it up. I mean, I know the reason why. Alduar hates directly re-releasing figures. Because he has said in podcasts before, he doesn't like to have two of the same figure in his collection. Basically, if you're not privy to this, Alduar does not, do figures that, people actually want. He does ones he wants, which is why he skipped Resurrection this year and wasn't planning on doing it. He is going to do it now because he got a huge amount of backlash because of it, because a lot of people are saying, where's Resurrection? And that, so, he said, oh, don't worry, we'll do a 4-pack or something. I doubt he'll do a 4. Well, the thing is, there's no real reason to do a 4-pack. You can just do 2 separate B&M releases, do a Creation of the Daleks set 2 with, which is also something. They missed out on David Goodison this year. No David Goodison Davros. Yeah, we had that Creation of the Daleks set 1 last year, and I was predicting that this year we will get a second Creation of the Dalek set that would have Davros and hopefully the bloody Suicide Bomber Dalek. And I know you probably can't call that in today's day and age, but the thing is, normally it just says ×2 whatever story the Dalek is, so you could just call it, set includes Davros and Destiny Dalek. You wouldn't have to mention, the fact that it's got bombs on it. I mean, that's what they are, but anyway. So yeah, why haven't we had that re-released? Shineweg says, Alduar needs to stop this variant bullshit because with the so-called renegade, he's clearly just pissing... Oh, just mentioned that. Just making unique variants, now he can't do his job properly, yeah. Some people are wondering, what's he going to do when he runs out of Dalek variants? Like, well, one, there's some that he skipped, which he says he might go back to. But also, I'm surprised he didn't take advantage of having the Big Finish license, because there's a ton of different Dalek variants he could do there that are just repaints. Like, for example, Brotherhood of the Daleks has a red Dalek with blue hemispheres. That would be a lovely one to release, because I do love my red Daleks. He could do another Children of the Revolution Dalek set. He likes the comic book one, so yeah, there's a bunch of ones that he could do that he just bloody hasn't. I wish the Emperor Davros had a re-release. So do I. The thing is that I'm surprised. I'm not too surprised we haven't had it this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have it next year, because earlier this year, I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was like February, March time. So it would have been a bit too late to do it for this year. But basically the molds for the Emperor Davros were actually found, because for a long time, those molds were apparently lost. But earlier this year, Alduar confirmed in somebody's podcast, I did a video about it ages ago, that the molds were found. So yeah, now, will that be a B&M release? I don't know. I don't know if there's the budget in there for a B&M release, because it is a more expensive figure. Maybe. If not, I can see it being an online exclusive. And there is a bit of room for an improvement with that. For example, the paint apps on the original aren't the greatest. Mainly on the wires, more than anything else. Also, it would be nice if they can figure out a way to put the little dot on his eye. Because I can understand why they didn't, because, on such a small scale. But it would be nice if it did that. Yeah, I do have an Emperor Davros set. I've got one. But I refuse to open it. I think I got it back in 2019, and I paid about £50 for it, which was a good price even then. It's a really good price now, but God, that set was so expensive. Its retail price was £35. Yeah, that was its retail price, which is why at the time I just couldn't afford to get it as much as I wanted it. Shinywork says, we could get a re-release of American Okay, I'll just mention that. Mr. Leska says, happy Friday, everyone. Six Sec, what's your favourite Saw film? Yeah, I've been meaning to re-watch them, to be honest. Like, I do remember what the ones I've seen, like, all the way through is Saws 1 through 3 and Saw 10. After that, I just started seeing, I know the plots of all of them and that. But after that, I just started watching clips of mainly just the traps after that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's between 2, 6, and 10. It's between those two. 10 is obviously very recent in my mind, because I saw that very recently. And I think basically the more Tobin Bell in the film, the more basically it's like more Tobin Bell, it's better. Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, though, I was thinking about possibly getting the collection set, but there's a lot of people talking about on forums saying that all of the films are getting 4K Blu-ray remasters and everything, so I might wait until then to actually get them, because I don't own any of them physically. I remember we did rent them actually the first 3, which is how I saw them. The first 3 were rented from Blockbuster, I remember. Yeah. Shinywag says, what do you think is the most accurate Doctor Who figure? I'd say it's the Ice Warrior, the 70s Song figures, original versions. Well, the Ice Warrior figure, the problem is it's missing one vital thing. Its gun on the arm. It's missing that. So yeah, that's what holds that back. The original Song releases are fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. terms of figures, it's really hard to say. I mean, the revised NSDs and even the paradigms and that are much more accurate in that in terms of like Daleks. I think one of the best ones is the original like Earthshock Cyberman. Yeah. In terms of sculpts, and that. In terms of likenesses, like in terms of like humanoid characters or doctors, I think in terms of doctors, I think the best likeness that they've ever gotten is the original smiling Tom Baker head. And that, just so you know, that wasn't made by Aldebar, that one, which is why he's been reluctant ever since to ever use it. But I think that's one of the best likenesses. Yeah. I think Aldebar doesn't seem to realise that when you do a figure and that, because he does these really highly detailed renders and that. The problem is that he forgets that basically 90% of that detail is going to be lost on a 5.5 inch scale figure. So yeah, he doesn't seem to realize that most of the detail is going to be lost, and as a result, it would look worse otherwise. Like you've got to try and think, okay, what's it going to look like as a toy first and foremost, rather than just trying to make the most detailed CGI render. Christian Create says, where does the name Six Sec come from? So, I've told this story quite a few times, but when I was originally creating my YouTube channel, I originally wanted to call it Sec after Dalek Sec. Unfortunately, it wouldn't let me take that. It said that name was already taken, so I then decided, okay, I'll spell Sec with a K. That was already taken, so I then picked my favourite number, which was the number 6, and that's how Six Sec came about. So, yeah, that's where Six Sec comes about. Shiny says, if you want to ever touch up the Supreme's eye, I found a fine tip white paint marker. Penny Cookies. Yeah, I did think about that, but even then, it's less about touching it up with that. It's about having it's very fiddly, and you've got to have a very steady hand, and it's just really bloody difficult. Because it did initially work. The problem is, I'd either put too much on or not enough. And when I took some of it off, it would take a little bit of the paint off. So it was like, I'm happy enough with it. I'm just gonna, at the moment, like, I know, like, now I know just like when to cut my losses, leave it alone. Leave it alone, because I don't want to fuck about with that again. I really do not want to fuck about with that again. Because it's a fucking pain in the ass. Let's see if I can get the chat up, because I think on there it's not frozen. So yeah, I think that's yeah, we're going down to 2 viewers in the chat. So yeah, if any of you people that are left and that who want to comment something, again, it can literally be anything, then please do it now. Otherwise, I think I'll probably wrap this up in a minute. So yeah, because this has been quite a long one, actually. Nearly 2 hours. And that's also been quite a bit of a stream. But yeah, but overall, I hope everyone's enjoyed this one. And that's been... I need to get a drink. I'm losing my voice in that a bit here. I've been talking non-stop for 2 hours and it's bloody warm in here. So yeah, I lose my voice in that a bit in here. So yeah, but is that another comment? No. Okay. It was the same ones and that popped up before. Yeah. It was the same one. God, I sound horrible now. I sound all croaky. I really need a drink of water. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know when my next live stream will be, but I do have a lot of content planned. I will be covering the 60th anniversary specials and that when they come out. I'll be doing thoughts on watching after I've watched them each and every week and that they come out. I've been to Neil Cole's museum again the last weekend, and then I'll have a video on that coming about that. I've recently got some of those Amazon fob watches that are meant to be, they're very loosely based and that's on the Doctor Who ones. So yeah, I'll probably do videos on that and other stuff on that as well. So anyway, thank you for watching this live stream and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.